So I had a lot of people ask me to look at Selena Gomez and the Weeknd's charts together, and in doing so, I actually uncovered like the most like cursed astrology chart that I could have found. So I'm calling this a three-part series called The Weeknd and Astrological Crucifixion. Starting with part one, the one that got away. I'm a Vedic astrologer, so I look at things from a kind of Vedic point of view. And so I already knew that he must have like some hardcore like cult leader elements in his chart. And of course, he is very, very Jupiter ruled, Jupiter being the planet of expansion, of abundance. And it is very common to see Jupiterian placements in cult leaders or people that have kind of prophet energy. Right off the top, he's a Punarvasu ascendant, which gives him like a dualistic kind of two-faced energy. It's very much like the classic like Cancer trait that people think that Cancers have of being a little bit manipulative, but really it's more so about being able to be like both boyish and playful at times and then also kind of like withdrawn, smooth, composed, depending on who he's with. His Dhanishta sun is conjunct Eros, which makes him really magnetic and very driven. Like he quite literally like shows like eroticism and longing through performance. And then his Vishaka moon is conjunct Pluto and Juno. So it like, I mean, that's really intense. It makes him emotionally obsessive. He has like long burning connections, deep desire for spiritual union. Like this is like the like romantic power struggle kind of alignment here, because Vishaka is ruled by Jupiter and it's all about all or nothing energy. And then on top of that, he has an Atara Ashada Venus conjunct Saturn, which really shows like dedication to love, but also restrictive love, like bonding deeply, but like delaying gratification or being really loyal through hardship and through difficulties that most people wouldn't stay through. It's really loyal, but it's also completely unsustainable. And finally, he has a Purva Ashada conjunction in Mars, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. So it's like swinging between like extreme passion and complete withdrawal. It's like nothing in between. He's a man of extremes. And so enter Selena, right? Selena Gomez is a Pushya sun on her ascendant, right? Which gives her a very nurturing public image. She's somebody people want to protect. She's somebody that people care for deeply. And then she has an Ashwini moon, which makes her very passionate. It draws people toward her. It has a youthful energy. And she has an insane like Ashlesha stellium and Mercury, Venus, Chiron, and Lilith. So it's emotionally volatile. It's intuitive. It's very much about like healing through pain. And so it means that she kind of has trouble separating her emotions from other people's. And that, when combined with her Kritika Mars conjunct Juno, means that she's also fiercely loyal. But she can also be a little reactive or sharp or cutting when trust is breached with someone. And finally, like her Shravana Saturn on her descendant creates like a karmic kind of like cold partnership with others. So essentially it takes her a really long time to trust somebody. Like Shravana doesn't trust easily. And so once you lose that trust, it is gone for good. And that explains why she kind of cut ties with Justin when she did. Yes, it was very hard for her, as seen by like documentaries and things that she's talked about in interviews. But like once you cut things off as a Shravana placement, like you're kind of gone. Like you're just gone for good. And so like this is really like a match forged by Pluto, because he has that Vishaka moon conjunct Pluto and Juno, and then that locks onto her Ashlesha cluster in Venus, Chiron, Lilith, Mercury, and it's like that shared Plutonian hunger, because it has that kind of being run by Chiron, which is all about your deepest wound, and Pluto, which is all about depth and transformation. It's intense, it's private, it probably got really addictive fast. And then her Mars and Kritika probably respected that drive that he has, especially with his Denisha sun, but then maybe got frustrated when he pulled back because of that Venus-Saturn conjunction that makes him withhold and kind of withdraw in love sometimes. And they both have really big Purva Ashada placements in their charts as well, so that creates this shared love of fantasy, of music, of escapism, kind of a stubborn nature, and then once that wall is up, it just stays up. So like looking at their charts, I saw that like really Call Out My Name is about Selena. It's not about Bella Hadid. And that really comes out of this like basic idea that like that lyric of I helped you out of a broken place maps perfectly to Selena's Ashwini moon and her Ashlesha Mercury, Venus, Chiron, Lilith cluster. It's about somebody who's like swimming in wounds and trauma, who needs to be helped or saved. It's about codependence and yearning. And it's about seeing somebody as essentially fundamentally shattered, right? That doesn't mean that that's how Selena actually is, but that is how people sometimes perceive her, and therefore that's why people feel the need to protect her. And then that line in Call Out My Name where he says, I claimed you so proud and openly, is echoed by the Weeknd's Atara Ashada Venus conjunct Saturn, because like that does not go casually like public, right? Like that is a placement that takes going public with somebody, recognizing somebody online very seriously. Like that's about long-term intention, and he did it very quickly with Selena. And then that I almost cut a piece of myself for your life line is very much Vishaka moon conjunct Pluto and Juno. Like it's bonded, it's obsessive, it's very scorched earth, right? It hurts like a bitch. And really emphasizes the fact that that song is about Selena and not about Bella Hadid is that line, "You just wasted my time," right? That's like Saturn Venus pain. And that wasn't about Bella, because Bella was the familiar ache that he did return to, right? Versus Selena was like the quick and dirty heartbreak that left him like dazed and confused, spiritually burnt. Like they break up, and then the next year he releases My Dear Melancholy. And so when you look at like Bella Hadid's chart, you see that it's not really quite the same. Bella is a Hasta Sun conjunct Rahu, which creates identity crises. It has a lot of themes of like building yourself up, recreating yourself. It has a faded element to it because it's ruled by the moon, but it's often distorted in clarity. And then her Purva Falguni moon is conjunct her ascendant, which gives her this glowing image, right? It's beautiful, it's aesthetically pleasing and magnetic, but it's often idealized, especially by men with that kind of overlap of that moon, Pluto, Juno, like the Weeknd. And then she does have that Ashleisha Mars conjunct Black Moon Lilith, which is seductive and kind of emotionally manipulative, a little wounded, like what I talked about. And so, like, Abel would have been drawn in and deeply triggered by that. Selena is Ashleisha, but that Kritika Mars is about direct confrontation, not just like manipulation necessarily or illusion. And then like Bella does have that Maga Venus conjunct Psyche and Lilith, which means that she knows how to project fantasy and erotic power, but then also feels like she is more of like a muse versus like a stable partner. And so their moon synastry overall, his and Vishaka and hers and Purva Falguni, doesn't land like soul deep as much as it is like sensual, it's aesthetic, it's karmic, it's triggering, right? Like she scratches the surface, but she doesn't get fully in there. And really from his perspective, Selena is likely like the what could have been if she were whole enough to stay, right? Like he probably like romanticizes her suffering, her melancholy. There's deep grief there. It's like spiritual tragedy versus Bella, who's the one who matched his darkness in many ways and like looped back into his old karmic wound. So she's a shadow mirror versus Selena, who is somebody who he dreamed about being able to save and claim, and who he wasn't able to keep. So yeah, I mean, that 10-month relationship, like that was no normal like 10-month situationship, like down severely, although I'm sure some of you have also had 10-month situationships that are that deep. But I mean, those lines, like that album, it tells you everything that you need to know. And that's just the first part. So follow for more.